So there's this question that's been circulating in the boxing world, and it is this, beautiful people. If Terence Crawford wins more than 6 rounds versus Canelo Alvarez, and the fight goes to the judges' scorecards, will he get robbed in Vegas? Let's actually think about it. Now, first of all, I hope not. I hope whoever wins this fight just wins it simply, gets declared as the winner, and we move on. Like, if Canelo wins the fight, I hope he doesn't get robbed. And if Bud wins the fight, I hope he doesn't get robbed. But because Canelo is the money man, and because Canelo's, let's be honest, this event would have never happened if Canelo wasn't involved in it. But without Bud, if you put Benavidez, this event would have probably even been bigger. But so I love Canelo, but I'm also realistic. I'm not an idiot. I'm not an idol worshipper. I'm not just I can't look at someone who I love and just act like everything about the situation regarding them is perfect. Yes, it is very, very hard to beat Canelo in Vegas, and especially with Canelo being the champion. With Canelo having nearly 60 or 70,000 screaming fans on his side in a football stadium, of course it's going to be hard. Listen, history is our horoscope. Let's go back in history. History will give us an idea. When Canelo fought Floyd, even though I believe prime for prime, and just purely my opinion, I believe that Canelo is levels above Floyd as a human, most importantly. But one judge gave Canelo 6 rounds in that fight. How crazy was that? And versus Bivol, all 3 judges gave Canelo 5 rounds. So all 3 judges, if Canelo would have probably done more to win 1 round or 1 minute, the fight would have been a draw. And listen, I don't believe that was the best Canelo, the Canelo that fought Bivol. That wasn't the best Canelo. But guys, like Canelo, I don't think that you can give him more than 3 rounds. I don't know, 4 if you're like very generous, but 5, and especially all judges giving him 5. You know what that means. And let's not talk about the Golovkin fights. The first Golovkin fight, one judge gave Golovkin 2 rounds. And the second fight, I believe Canelo won by like majority decision. And like no judges gave Golovkin more than 7 rounds. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's absolutely crazy. And a lot of people say that even Lara, one judge I believe gave Lara only 2 rounds, or 117, 111, so like 3 rounds. So you know what I mean? When Canelo fights in Vegas, it is extremely hard not to get a decision over him, but to get a round scored in your favor if you're not dominating. You can't really blame Canelo for that. That's how the way things work in Vegas, because Canelo brings in crazy money to Vegas, and he brings millions on millions on millions on millions on millions of dollars. So when Canelo brings all this money to Vegas, of course they're gonna give him favoritism. Common sense, beautiful people. But let's just talk about this fight specifically. It would be very unfortunate if Bud Crawford wins 7 to 8 rounds and they give Canelo the decision. Listen, I've said this in countless videos that I made about this fight. It is impossible to root against Canelo Alvarez, especially after what the man did outside the ring, donating to the people of Gaza. Him and Mario Barrios are the only 2 world champions. I like to mention this in all of my videos. Why? Just to show you who history will remember. Barrios and Canelo, the only 2 champions in their time, out of all these world champions, out of all these brave monsters world champions, only these 2 men those two men, Mexican blood, stood with the people of Gaza. But nonetheless, let's get back to the topic. Yes, it will definitely not be easy. I mean, even some might say that, oh, Turkey al-Sheikh, he's the one making this event, so of course Bud will win the decision. No. Turkey wanted Hamza Shiraz to win. Turkey wanted Tyson Fury to win in the first fight. Turkey wanted Tyson Fury to win in the second fight. And in the first fight, they gave Usyk the decision. In the second fight, no judge gave Fury the fight, even though the fight was extremely close. I mean, probably like 10 rounds of that fight were swing rounds. And even Hamza Shiraz versus Adames. You know, on the commentary, like Sean Porter and Doc Fisher, they both scored the fight for Hamza Shiraz. But one judge gave Hamza Shiraz 2 rounds. So you know what I mean? Like, just because Turki al-Sheikh wants Crawford to win, that doesn't mean that the decision will go Crawford's way. I promise you. Like that is an absolute guarantee. So this is the situation that we are dealing with, beautiful people. It is going to be, history does show that it is hard for a person to get a decision over Canelo in Vegas. But listen, if you beat Canelo thoroughly, I believe that Crawford will get the decision. It's just if the fight was close, if you're talking about 6-6 or 7-5 either way. And to be honest, when the fight ends like 6-6 or 7-5 either way, you can't really be mad on who gets the decision. I just wish that in boxing, whoever wins, they just give him the decision. Like, let's say Bud beats Canelo 9-3 and Bud gets the decision. So what? That doesn't mean that we're not going to support Canelo. No matter what happens to Canelo on Saturday night, you will never see me come here and make videos to discredit Canelo. Like, if you support a fighter, you're not going to stop supporting them because they have a few losses. Look at Muhammad Ali, the greatest boxer of all time. By every single person who knows anything about boxing, they will tell you that Muhammad Ali is the greatest. How many losses does he have? He got more than 1 loss, more than 2 losses, more than 3 losses, more than 4 losses. So what? That doesn't stop the entire world from recognizing the man as the greatest. It takes much more than 36 minutes, a couple of times a year, to become one of the greats. More than what you do inside the ring, because let's be honest, all these fighters at the elite level, they're all amazing inside the ring, but it's what you do outside of the ring. So Canelo Alvarez, the human, the individual, the soul, the spirit, the person, it is very hard for me to not root for the man, no matter what happens to him in the ring. You know what I mean? So this is all I'm saying, beautiful people. Like, when we talk about these incompetent and corrupt judges and commissioners, and you know who, in Vegas, if they only knew that just because Canelo loses, that doesn't mean that the people who truly love him and support him will not come out. I mean, listen, if I lived in the States and Canelo fought near to the place where I lived, of course I would show up and support Canelo, even if Canelo was on a 2-3 fight losing streak. So what? You don't tune in to watch Canelo to see a winner. You tune in to watch simply one of the greats. And if you know anything about boxing, you know that all the greats fell and got back up and fell. It's because they describe and they show us an example of what happens in real life when someone falls down. They get back up, dust themselves off, continue on. It is okay to lose. It is okay to fall down. But as long as you give it your all and continue to, like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't really matter. Like, that undefeated record. Who cares about being undefeated? I mean, only that small, insecure, ugly little man, he cares about being undefeated. Why? It's because that's all he got. You know, unfortunately, God hasn't blessed the man with anything, you know. Just look at him, you know. He's a small, insecure, little, ugly man. So, of course, he's gonna, you know, hang on tight to that undefeated record because that's simply all he got. That's his identity. That's all I'm saying. So, listen, I don't care if Canelo loses. We will support him no matter what. I don't care if Bud loses, we will support him no matter what. And if only the Vegas judges, if only they put that in their brain and understand the situation.